So this meeting is being conducted because this is part of our qualifying process. Yes, I am recording this meeting. Part of our qualifying process for political parties in the state of California. In the state of California, you have to hold a caucus or convention, and then you have to let the state know that you would like to begin the process to qualify as a political party. So that's what we're doing here, and that's why we are meeting today. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Courtney Sheehan, and right now I'm working as the state chairperson for the Women's Party, and we got together, a bunch of us ladies got together recently and decided to make our grand break from our various political leanings and strike out on our own and start the Women's Party. So we are here to do that today. I'm going to type in the, or I'm going to screen share and I'm going to type in the agenda for today so that you all can either pull it up on your computer or you can look at it on mine. So here in the group chat is the link to the agenda, and then I will screen share it as well. So can everyone see that? Does anyone have any issue seeing that? Okay, cool. All right, so we are, as I said, coming from different backgrounds, and we are moving out now that we have a president-elect who is not absolutely insane. We feel that we can move forward in a new direction with a new political party here in California and eventually nationally that sort of refines the representative process here in the state and then eventually in the nation. And a lot of us formed together because we feel that we are not being represented. We feel that we have been given sort of we've been put on the back burner. We haven't really been given a voice, and we haven't really been allowed to lead in our political process. And we feel that it's time for women to start putting the voices of women and female identifying persons first so that we can make substantive change in our democratic process. So my background, I was an 8-year small business owner. I owned a marketing company that I built in Minneapolis where I lived. And then I joined the Marine Corps, and I served in the Marine Corps as a cybersecurity professional for 9 years. And I am now doing that work, basically a cybersecurity professional in the private sector for a DoD contractor at this time. I have an undergraduate degree in political science from the University of Maryland, and I have an associate's in history from MiraCosta, and I ran for local office. I ran for Riverside County Supervisor last election cycle for the primary election, and I'm very proud to say that after campaigning for just 3 months and spending $1,600, I came in as the top challenger to a 25-year incumbent, Chuck Washington. And even though I didn't win the election, I was really happy about the showing, and there seemed to be a lot of support from other women who wanted to see a woman take that office. So that really started to begin my idea to help build momentum for a woman-powered movement. And now I'm currently serving as a campaign manager and a campaign consultant. I have only one qualified candidate that has appeared on the ballot. However, it looks like he will win his election. So I'm proudly touting the statistic that 100% of my qualified candidates have won their elections. So that's the background on me. And before I turn the floor over to other folks to introduce themselves, I do want to give a thank you to one of our official sponsors, which is Preston Inc. Marketing. They're Temecula-based, woman-owned marketing and printing company, and they're absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Alex and Dan. And our seed donors so far, which have been Denton Burr, he's a BLM activist and former candidate for Temecula City Council, as well as Melissa Bourbonnais, who is a sheriff's deputy. She works in the jail. She she's a teacher, she's a professor, and she was a political candidate last cycle with me for supervisor for a different district. So she has a lot, she's a lot going on. So thank you all both. And at this time, I'm just gonna roll down the list. If you would like to introduce yourself after our, let's see if Alex is on the phone call, after our key personnel are introduced, then please feel free to do so. But I'm gonna bring up Keisha first because she's currently serving as our first vice chair. So take it away, my dear.
Hi guys, I'm Keisha. I am currently the vice chair. I kind of roped into this because of Courtney. I don't have the background that she has, if I'm honest. My degree is in business and entrepreneurship, so completely left flank for me. We met with me doing Black Lives Matter activism. I'm just the type of person that is very big on changes needing made and putting your money where your mouth is, basically. So at this point, I originally joined the Democratic group. It wasn't for me. It doesn't have the freedom that I want. It doesn't have the support that I want, and things like that. And when Courtney brought up the Women's Party, it just seemed like something that was more going to be our speed, something more. I'm big on respect. I like being respectful. We can all agree to disagree. We don't have to agree on every single thing, but that's what makes us stronger, is that we can have the different points, the different areas, the different beliefs to make us stronger. And I am just here to watch this grow into something beautiful.
Thank you. I really couldn't do pretty much anything without Keisha because she and I are totally simpatico, and I love you and I can't wait to work with you. Alex just jumped on the call. She's currently serving as our Director of Communications. Alex, I know you just jumped on, but it's time for you to introduce yourself. So feel free. I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
See, I don't do that many Zoom meetings. Hi, everyone. My name is Alex. I'm the owner of Crescent Ink in Old Town Temecula. We do commercial printing as well as like really cool, like artisan crafty, like handmade signs. Other than that, I joined the party because I really think women need a place to really support other women in all venues of their life. So I'm doing my part, and I hope that everybody else can join along. And there's a place for everyone, and everyone has needs that they need resources for. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. You're absolutely delightful, and both of you ladies, I'm super excited to work with. And we'll see where this goes. Jay couldn't make it to the phone call today. He offered to serve as our treasurer because every organization definitely needs a treasurer. But if anybody else does feel like stepping up into that role, it is, you're more than welcome to do so. So I'm going to flip back to the agenda so I can keep myself on topic, frankly, because I have I have issues organizing myself. And hang on one sec. Okay, cool. So you guys, if you want to, feel free to unmute yourselves and share your info and share what you're passionate about and what you want to do and what you want to jump in. And I have one messaged in statement to read from someone after everybody's done. Don't all jump at once. Johnny, I heard you. Is it Johnny or Joni?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Is it Johnny or
Johnny?
Joni?
Like Johnny Appleseed.
Oh, okay, cool. Did you want to share?
Sure. I'm Johnny, and I'm kind of new to the political sphere. I kind of would say like it's just kind of in the last like 2 years that I was like, oh, I got to do something, but I don't know what to do. And then in the last year that I'm like, okay, how do I get involved? And I would say I really kind of became more of the Women's Party through Laurel Lamont. She kind of introduced me to Courtney. And yeah, it's I'm just excited to be involved. I'm hungry to learn. I'm hungry to be a part of the change, and just be better and build back better and be an example and an ally in every sense of the word. And yeah, and that's kind of it. I'm unmute myself now, or mute myself. Bye.
That's awesome.
She's so
Thank you.
cute.
I appreciate you attending. She's adorable. I actually love you so much already. I've never met you before. Does anybody else want to share or introduce yourselves before we move on and I read the prepared statement from one of the supporters?
So I guess I'll jump in. I'm Melissa. I'm trying not to, I have a bad tendency to monopolize conversation, so I'm trying to resist that urge. I'm already excited to kind of put a face with some names and to meet some of you, as much as this qualifies as a meet, but it's great to see some faces. And so far what I've heard, I'm on board too. I think, what is it, Lakeisha? Did I get that right? What you just mentioned a few minutes ago, I love the idea of us respectfully disagreeing. I have studied political science since I became a political science major, which was in, oh my goodness, 1996 or 7, I think. I was taking classes at Riverside Community College. I was a brand new student trying to get my life together. They didn't have any available courses that I needed, the required courses to transfer. So I stumbled into a constitutional law class only because it was the only one that was available. I knew nothing about government, nothing about the Supreme Court, nothing about the Constitution. And I took this class and I was like, I fell in love and thought, oh my goodness, the amount of power these people have to impact the country, sometimes to impact the world. I was blown away. I fell in love with it then. I ended up getting my bachelor's degree in political science, my master's degree in political science. On and off, I have taught for about 15 years American government courses, political science courses, but primarily American government at Riverside Community College and at Cal State Fullerton. It's a long story as to how I got into law enforcement, but I got into law enforcement along the way. I'll spare you my whole life story, but just to give you a little bit of background, I know my politics, not that there isn't still stuff to learn all the time, but I know my politics, and in my 15 plus years of teaching and studying it, I have seen this greater and greater divide. I've seen more immaturity, more ruthlessness than ever before. And so going back to what Lakeisha stated, I love the idea that we can respectfully disagree. We're not all the same people with the same life experiences. We wouldn't want that anyway. That's some kind of convoluted version of the Stepford Wives, right? That movie. We don't want to be the same person. Diversity is a good, healthy, beautiful thing that we should actually embrace and not just make it part of our political rhetoric. But we can't embrace diversity. We can't live out diversity in any realm, in any part of life, if we don't learn how to be mature, to respect one another, and to sometimes just agree to disagree. And that's okay. That doesn't make us enemies. That doesn't make us wrong. That certainly doesn't make us evil or anything that we would be led to believe if all we focused on was what the media reports. So I like the idea of action. I also agree with your statement about, I want to see you put your money where your mouth is. Actions speak louder than words. It's not about just stump speeches. It's not about a bunch of talk. It's not about whatever the politically correct way of saying bullshit is, right? Like, it's about what we do, where we put our money, our actions, what we stand for, how we represent, and not just saying the right thing in order to get a bunch of likes and a bunch of clicks, and the way our current parties seem to operate. Go ahead. Oh,
That's
I thought
awesome.
somebody was jumping in. Anyway, so see, I have this propensity to monopolize, so I'm going to be quiet. I'm just happy to be here, and I already agree with everything that has come out in the last 10 minutes, and I'm excited, and I know we don't have all day, so I'll shut up. I'm going to mute myself.
Oh my God, I just love you so much right now. So great to actually see you and hear you speak.
Yeah, Melissa's awesome. She's a fantastic organizer. We also have a couple of, I know Riverside County groups, activist groups that are interested in helping and supporting. I don't know if you are familiar with the light brigade that goes on the overpass, and they've been putting up their light brigades for the past 4 years, but they're in support of the Women's Party. The head of the light brigade is in support of the Women's Party, and they'll help provide their light brigade for events or whatever we happen to be doing, and some other groups as well. So anybody else want to share before we move on? You can absolutely say whatever you want to say. Going once, going twice, and I'm going to read Tammy's statement. And oh, Jessica, yeah, go ahead and introduce yourself. That would be great.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm using a different set of headphones than usual, so I wasn't sure if it was going to pick up enough. So to make a very long story short, I am based out of East San Diego County, and I sprang across this because I work with local journalism. I actually write for 3 small, well, not small, 2 small and 1 medium-sized local newspaper here. And my background is such that it was immediately interesting to me. And of course, everyone I spoke with thought that's right up my alley to try and cover. I actually had a chance to speak with Johnny last week, and we were going to run, hi, I'm the lady you spoke with. We were going to run a preview in all 3 publications, Alpine Sun, East County Californian, and Star News, which is based out of the Chula Vista National City area. And of course, as I believe would happen, we ended up not running them due to space with elections coverage, which is fine because I initially had wanted to do it after this meeting anyway, so I could get a better feel for where things were going. So without talking too much, yes, I work in journalism. I am here probably 50%, I'd say, as someone still wanting to put together an article for next week on how I think this is freaking amazing that this group is being created, but also 50% thinking I'm super going out on a limb here. I would potentially be extremely interested to be an organizer down in San Diego, especially to East San Diego. I, in my own life, over the past summer, ended up being the lady here locally who covered a lot of the Black Lives Matters protests and affiliated type protests. I got to know a lot of people, I guess I would say, as best as possible. And I found out pretty quickly that even though we are all supposed to be very neutral in journalism, and I tried very, very hard to honor that, internally, it was a bit of a struggle for me to see what was happening here in East San Diego County. I'll leave you to research that on your own. Suffice to say, it is a very divided part of California. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi because I felt weird not speaking up, but I also feel like I want to be open and say, yes, I am press. However, here I am as an individual as well. I hope anyone feels free to get in touch with me later on. I will leave you my information if you want to talk to me for work purposes. And Courtney, I had already planned on connecting with you later on by phone just to see where things are going. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you finally, sort of in person. I think we'll make you the official voice of the party because you have such a soothing, modulated voice. So it was very nice to hear your introduction.
I think my
so
husband and kids would disagree, but thank you.
I'm sure they would, as would mine. So
thanks. Nice to meet you.
So I'm going to read Tammy's statement just for posterity. If we get kicked off the call, you guys, we're on the cheap Zoom. We're on the free Zoom. So just use the same link and get back on the phone call or the Zoom call. I'm going to upgrade the Zoom when we get more money. But Tammy had written, I'm an early childhood educator with a BA in child development and an MA in education, small business owner, a preschool program, and a local political activist. I know Tammy, and she works with Moms Demand Action quite extensively. She says, I'm currently registered no party preference, but I would love a home. And I think that pretty much sums up many folks that we will perform outreach with. There are a lot of women out there who, out of necessity, registered as Democrats, or they are no party preference because they don't feel that their issues are being properly represented or handled as well as they could be. Anybody else want to introduce themselves at this time? Okay, I'm going to read Chris's statement. Chris Flores is an early supporter of the Women's Party, and he's a recent high school graduate here in Temecula. Insanely intelligent young man, and I think he might be listening in on the phone call right now. So he wrote, "Hello and good afternoon. My name is Christopher Flores, and I'd like to start off by thanking everyone for attending this inaugural convention, a momentous time in California's history. We're doing a first in California history by creating a party dedicated to putting women first in politics and ending the disproportionate representation between men and women. Our progressive platforms and fast-growing supporters give me a strong faith that we will have Women's Party members holding office from San Diego County to Del Norte County. Our state and county lack a quality third-party option for all races, but together I believe we can create a well-organized and strong party with a platform stronger than steel," much like a woman's backbone. "It is a fact," yay, okay, cool. "It is a fact that women make up 51% of the population, but only 25% of the US Senate, 23% of the House of Representatives, 29% of statewide elected executives, and 29% of state legislative seats, 22% of mayors in cities with populations over 30,000, and never in our country's 244 years has a woman ever been elected president. It is merely a fact that women are not represented in our government, and one only the sexist and ignorant can ignore. This is why a women's party is needed tremendously in our state and our county. Women have long been the champions of movements from the women's suffrage movement and women's liberation movement, and it's time for another great movement, which starts here today with our fellow supporters, allies, and community leaders. Together, we can create the change and create the earthquake to take down the male establishment in our government." And I couldn't agree with him more, and I love you so much, Chris. So now that that's on record, which I was very, very happy to read, we'll go back to the agenda, and I will go ahead and just close the floor for introductions, and we will go over quickly our current party platform and make sure that everybody understands what kind of a goat rope they're getting into. Okay, so thanks to the influence of Laurel Lamont, who couldn't be on this phone call. She has quite an extensive day, and she has barely any time off. She's a grocer at Trader Joe's. We have come up with our Humanity First platform, and our slogan for the party is "Powered by Humanity," and that has a lot of layers to it because we're humans, obviously, and because we are people who are looking out for people. We're a people-focused party and a people-focused movement, and that dictates where we go in our platform and what our policies tend to look like. You'll notice that there's not a lot of stuff on here dealing with things that are typical dog whistles like taxation or immigration or things like that, which are really focused on the economics and the current white male economic concerns that have been economic concerns in our country for many, many years. Hilariously, if you look back in history, you will see that a lot of pamphlets were written during the Revolutionary War by these well-known revolutionary British loyalists and the activists who wanted to split. They would all have this war of the pamphlets, and the folks that wanted to split from the government would actually say that taxation, the continued taxation to Great Britain, to England, was slavery. And these are people that literally owned slaves. So the irony apparently was lost on them. They were terribly tone deaf at the time. And that unfortunately has that idea of economic, lack of economic freedom has infiltrated our political structure to the point that we now value things like private property and taxation, liberal taxation policies over people's lives. And that's what people tend to look at. And they, a lot of people will say of the past 4 years, oh, our economy has been great. Look at how high the stock market has been, while we have people dying from preventable illnesses, while we have people dying from school shootings, while we have people dying from COVID and other things. So we're taking and clawing that narrative back and creating a people first, humanity first platform. So that's the theme that you'll see as we look through the major planks of our platform. These are policies that we need to push for people. And that's what we feel is the best form of representative government out there. So I will leave you to read this on your own. It's on the website, and there are links to the source material, and obviously you can also do your own research as well. But that's where our platform stands right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items on our platform right now. And I don't really see us expanding very much away from these, because these are really core elements of quality of life policies and programs that there's certainly a gap or a need here in America. When it comes to quality of life and satisfaction with someone's quality of life, America is a first world nation, but we tend to rank among the bottom of first world nations when it comes to quality of life programs and social programs for our citizens. And I can give you, and Melissa, I'm sure, can give you the background on why that is, and the constant fighting between federalists and anti-federalists, and the size of government and stuff like that, which would be a great podcast for anybody who wants to sit down and interview her, and we can talk about how we got here. But that is definitely a larger conversation for another day. So just to explain why we're not the Democratic Party-lite, I've been a lifelong Democrat since I was 18, and I was able to register to vote. So have many women who have been on this phone call, or whenever they happen to register, they registered as Democrats, and that's totally fine. We're not the Democratic Party-lite because we're focusing on our platform and our objectives. And the Democratic Party, it tends to metastasize its platform. It has quite a wide focus, and we have somewhat of a narrow focus. And additionally, we are going to stress the importance of a professional code of conduct, not only in member-to-member interactions, but also in officer-to-member interactions as well. So to facilitate that, every officer will be given free leadership training, free communication training. We will offer free communication training to our members who may not have been exposed to those resources and those different communication styles, so that we can sidestep and avoid the potential hurt feelings or resentments that typically tend to arise within the Democratic Party. As a party insider, you know, I've served on the Riverside County Central Committee and been involved with several chartered clubs in Riverside County. I can tell you that sometimes when somebody speaks out against something that you believe in or someone believes in the Democratic Party, all of a sudden those people who may have been very good friends are now ideological enemies, and they just will not. It's like oil and water, they won't mix. So we don't want to continue that vibe here, because a lot of people who have spoken, a lot of you have spoken today, want that diversity. You want open discussion, and you are mature enough to respect other people who may or may not have the same thing to say about an issue that you do. And I'm also not monitoring the chat, so I don't know if maybe like Keisha or Alex could monitor the chat, but I'm
I've been
sort of
watching
the
it.
talking head right now. Thank you. Agile bylaws and less bureaucratic layers. So I don't know, you probably know, Jessica, out in East County, the shenanigans with Amar Camp-Najjar and his sort of like wooing of what's considered a hate group out in East County, even though he's a Democratic candidate. And that wasn't, unfortunately, the first time that he's spoken with conservative organizations, but it was one of the more high profile, and it was right before the election. And a lot of chartered clubs and stuff and Democratic organizations said, well, we want to pull his endorsement. We don't agree with him talking to defend East County. We want to pull his endorsement. But because their bylaws are so bureaucratically heavy and have so many layers, they weren't actually able to institute a process to pull his endorsement. It would have taken 75, 80 days in some places, which was after the election. So ultimately, us moving forward, a lot of us have a background in business, myself included, and we want to create an organization that is extremely adaptable, extremely agile, and can meld and morph with the progress of the times. We don't want to be stuck waiting. For example, in Riverside County, the Democratic Party of Riverside County, I had requested access to the voter registration system, and by the time I resigned my position 6 months later with the Central Committee, I still had not gotten that access. So we don't want to be stuck with all of these layers of bureaucracy to have to go through to get things accomplished, because ultimately we won't be able to get things accomplished at that point. People will lose interest, we'll lose momentum, we won't reach our goals, and having those obstacles is a serious detriment to any organization's ability to function and grow. And then we already talked about open and respectful discussion among members and leaders. I don't really think I need to beat that dead horse again, but that's one of our huge priorities and why we're not the same as the Democratic Party, because we don't expect you to essentially toe the party line on every single issue. And if you do have something you want to talk about that is strays from the majority, you shouldn't really be afraid to bring that up. And then leadership and communication strategies training will be required. It's actually something that you don't see in at least the Democratic Party. I don't know if the Republican Party does it, but from my time in the military, having learned how to lead Marines and how to be both a leader on paper as well as an ethical leader and a moral leader to other people, I definitely believe that we need to embrace the whole 360-degree leadership concept. And our leaders should have integrity. They should be people that we look up to on and off the job. They should be people who conduct themselves with professionalism away from a camera and in front of a camera. And so leadership training and communication strategies and communication training is something that we're definitely going to institute, just because I've seen how not having that can affect a political organization. Does anybody have any questions so far on any of these items or topics?
So Melissa put a point in the chat about what she wants to talk about. And I say she just unmuted, so I'll let her go ahead and speak.
Right, I didn't want to interrupt, but just, and all the points, Courtney, you were making are excellent points, and I completely agree. I just wanted to add in for us to explore at some point, not right this minute, but down the road, that those of us that are involved, whether it's this particular women's party or even the parties that you mentioned, the meetings that you've been part of, Courtney, the caucuses, the political engagement that you know well, one of the things that we all have in common when we're this engaged is that we're passionate. We're passionate people, we're passionate about our ideology and what we believe in. And so part of what I think we want to be, we should be very cognizant about is to make sure that, yes, I think we should remove those layers of bureaucracy, because they just end up causing undue problems and making real change nearly impossible. We want to also balance that with being careful not to react. In my experience, there's been a lot of emotional reactions, and just as you mentioned, suddenly these two people disagree and they're ideological enemies. That's part of what happens when we're passionate people and we commit our heart and our time, our energy, our efforts to this cause, and then somebody disagrees and we have a bad tendency just as humans to react. And so we react, and now they're our enemy, and now we want them out, and we pull endorsements and we do these things. We kind of get caught up in the moment and react. And bureaucracy, yes, we want to balance to excessive bureaucracy, which ends up causing massive obstacles. We want to balance that with just overreacting and making these decisions that I usually refer to it as we just get emotionally drunk. And just like when you're actually drunk, you make poor decisions. Sometimes you can get emotionally drunk and make poor decisions too. So as we continue our journey here, let's just remember that that's something we want to balance and navigate too. We don't want to just be pulling endorsements or just reacting because we're caught up in an emotional moment. We still want to be sound and methodical and certainly respectful and make these decisions appropriately as opposed to being in a drunken emotional state.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I'm actually going to make a note under a code of professional conduct that says respond, don't react, because there's a difference. So I'm going to make that note there. All right, so family-friendly ethos, the core of this party is going to be the fact that we all, most of us have children, we have families, some of us have caregiving responsibilities to perhaps disabled loved ones or senior family members or something like that. But most of us, for the majority of us, have some sort of responsibility outside of our own selves. And the thing that holds women back from seeking office, one of the biggest things that holds women back from seeking office, is having a support system or having the understanding that you may have to go to a meeting with your kids, or you may have to find a way to have somebody come and take care of your disabled loved one during the evening while you're out stumping or whatever. Like, a lot of women have those caregiving responsibilities to someone. And that means that as we move forward, the expectation shouldn't be that we have silent rooms, chairs stacked neatly in front of each other with a single person at a podium and you can hear a pin drop. Like, our meetings are going to have kids at them, frankly. They're going to have people who need wheelchair assistance. They're going to have disruptions. And that is because a lot of women want to participate, but they cannot participate if they have to pay for an extensive amount of childcare, even finding childcare. Like myself, I can afford childcare, but at the end of the day, I have to go through a background check. I'm very particular about who I leave my kid with, because I know there are a lot of people out there who are just not great child caregivers. So we want to take that pressure off of women. And we want to make sure that when a woman steps into this party, she is fully supported, or a single parent, a male single parent, fully supported, and knows that they will have some sort of help or some sort of resources to continue along the progression and do what they need to do so that they can participate. And that is one of the ways that we're going to help uplift women's voices. It's not just money, it's not just time, it's the fact that we are going to help women to understand that they are welcome with their wiggly toddler, or they need to breastfeed. They can go ahead and do that and nobody will judge them. If somebody hears a child crying in a meeting, it really is not that big of a deal. So that's our family-friendly ethos, is understanding that for women, it's not just a political party, it is a whole concept of finding a political home and a way that they can participate where they're not being held back by anything else that they have going on. And these are our current initiatives that we're working on right now. So we have a homeless donation drive. We're in contact with a homeless encampment in the San Jacinto riverbed, and our donation drive is for clothing and for gas cards and gas powered heaters and warm cold weather sleeping bags and stuff like that. It's been published on social media I think it's on the website. If it's not on the website, I have to put it on the website. And we are just working to get them to a point of having a little bit more comfort as temperatures drop up there, because it's pretty chilly. And then we're also doing a giveaway for a children's Schwinn bicycle, and those are things that you can put out on your social media or you can email to friends or whatever, and it helps them gain interest in the party, and at the same time it helps them do good work. Donating to the homeless and actually knowing that those donations go straight to the homeless is definitely something that people will care about. They know that they're making a direct difference. It's great to donate to Goodwill, but at the end of the day, you don't know what happens to your stuff or if anybody even takes it or whatever. Our future initiatives after the holiday season, in the beginning of next year, we are going to start working on community cleanups and trash pickups. And obviously, as the momentum for the party grows, you guys will find more people and everybody will connect. And it's a great way to not only help clean up our communities, but also to create visibility out for the party as we continue to make a name for ourselves as community servants and servants of public works. So I will go over quickly with you the pathway to qualification and the current strategy. It's sort of outlined on the website here. So the process is that we're going to go with the petition process, and we have to get, depending on the number of votes that will be cast in this election, which we won't know for about a month until election results are certified, somewhere around 1.2 million. And that point percentage might actually change, because this was like a huge, there was a lot of turnout for this presidential election, even more than normal. So we have to gather these signatures through petitions, through the petitioning process. And we have a very aggressive strategy to do that. And that strategy will incorporate the leadership's understanding of grassroots campaign outreach, as well as target market identification. And we're going to be doing it remotely. And if people feel comfortable, they can do in person as well. It's really up to you or whoever it is to do these events in person or remotely. There will be options for either preference. So at this rate, we have to be gathering about 26,000 to 30,000 signatures per month to have us on track to qualify for the 2024 primary election in March of 2024. So it's a very aggressive, ambitious strategy, but we have a lot of great ways that we're going to accomplish that. And then while people fill up their petitions, they turn the circulators turn their signatures into their county registrar of voters offices for verification. And this is the final step, which is where we actually qualify in that 135-day period prior to the 2024 primary election. So concurrently, while we're doing this, we are going to start ramping up and mentoring candidates to appear on the ballot, because obviously if we qualify and we have no candidates to run, that's a huge problem. So we're going to have a lot of moving pieces, and there are going to be a lot of things going on. But our focus definitely will have to be on the signature collection on these petitions, because, you know, without a political party, we really have, you know, that's qualified, we really have nowhere to go from there. So how are we going to make this happen? So we're going to make sure that we select the right target market. We're going to do two things. We're going to identify currently registered voters using various metrics that may want to register as Women's Party voters. And we have a formula for that, and we have things that we're going to use to identify those people. And we're also going to hold voter registration drives, because in California, you can, I don't know why this is popping up, you can register to vote day of, like, let's say it's a Wednesday, and I register to vote that Wednesday. I will give my voter registration card to the circulator that registered me to vote, and I will then sign my name on the petition, even though I just registered to vote that day at that time. And then the circulator takes in that voter registration card, and then, you know, voter card handling procedures will be given as training to the circulators. They take them in with their petitions, and the registrar of voters verifies and enters that new voter into the system, even though they may have registered as a Democrat or an NPP or whatever. Once that person is verified, their signature on the petition then counts towards our cumulative signatures. So we're going to work on that. And we, obviously that's kind of sort of an in-person thing, but our remote efforts will consist of extrapolating campaign techniques. So calling, texting, email blasts, social media, stuff like that campaigns are already doing remotely. We're just going to take those out of their active campaign box and put them into petition signature gathering box. There are things that translate both ways. Does anybody have any questions about sections 4 and 5? Okay. All right, so officer positions, we just need to formally ratify those who are currently serving as officers, which on this phone call is myself, Keisha, and Alex. And then anybody who does want to volunteer for one of the positions, I will pull up the positions now. We'll talk about those as well. So we just need let me stop the screen share for a second. We just need a hand vote via the hand function on the Zoom. If you have, do you guys have a hand? You should have a hand in your participants tab, perhaps. if you, okay, I'm getting a thumbs up from Melissa, so I'm using her as a guiding light. So for myself, we will call, and Keisha, I'm actually going to have you conduct the ratification for me, because if I do it, that's a conflict of interest according to Robert's rules. So I'm going to turn it over to you to call for the vote.
All right, all in favor of Courtney remaining the chair, raise your hand. Tammy's raising her hand in chat. I don't know if she doesn't have a hand, but I see her in chat raising. Johnny as well.
I feel like a couple of folks might be Zooming. I just need one more hand raised to make it official, because we need 6 out of 10. And I can't vote for myself.
Hey, Courtney, I'm trying to raise my hand, but it kind of disappeared. I'm going to try one more time.
That's okay. We'll log you as a hand raise.
There
Can
it
you
is.
see mine?
Okay,
Okay.
it looks like we're good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we have to do our stuff according to Robert's Rules of Order, which is what every organization has to use. So you need 50 plus 1% to vote an officer in. Okay, so thank you, Keisha. I'm going to hold the election for you. Everybody who is in favor of Keisha remaining as first vice chair, go ahead and raise your hand or wave your hand or tell me that your hand is up or whatever it is. I can't raise my hand because I'm the host, but I'm raising my, here we go. Keisha, this is sort of like a virtual hand moment, like Lanny's virtual hand or whoever.
Yeah, I like it. That's exactly what I thought of.
Does it have
Okay,
to be our
1,
right
2,
hand?
3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're good. We're good. All right. And then last election, those in favor of leaving Alex as communications director, please raise your virtual hand, do the hokey pokey, whatever you need to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we got 8 on that one. All right, so that's good.
Thank you.
Everybody's been formally elected, and now we just need to try to fill some of these remaining positions. I'm going to share the positions back. So we have our county chair coordinator, and this is sort of a big one as we head into the petition submission time. This will be very important. You will be responsible. So ideally what we'd like is to have every county have a chairperson. So the county chair coordinator would be in charge of all of those counties throughout California. And I think there are like 46 counties or 53 counties or something like that. So it's a big responsibility that will take a lot of time. So if there's nobody on this call who can do it now, that's fine. I will continue to source people. But if you do have time, I would say that now, right now until the end of the year, probably, I don't know, a couple hours a week. But as we gain momentum more and more, we could be looking at like 5, 10, perhaps 15 hours per week moving on into the next year. Richa, is your hand up for voting, or is your hand up because you want to do that? I just saw you turn it down. Okay.
Sorry. My first time Zooming. I feel like an idiot. Apologize.
It's okay.
I'm here, but Keisha, if you could record my hand up for all of the nominations, please, because I think I missed Courtney's nomination hand raising thingy. So,
Okay.
going back on mute now.
Okay. Jen, is your hand up for voting, or because you want to be the county chair coordinator? And we're down. Okay. I see how it is, Jen. Okay. So I will just leave that open. If nobody has the time to devote to that, that's fine. I don't want you guys to feel like you have to. Try to talk to your friends as you continue to talk about the Women's Party. Try to find your friend that works part-time and like sort of just like relaxes their way through life, if you have a friend like that, and get them involved, because that would be the perfect job for somebody who doesn't have a lot of responsibility moving forward. Okay, platform coordinator, that is somebody who really wants to help beef up the platform. That's pretty much going to be temporary, because once we have our platform written, obviously you won't need to do really any more work, except maybe like a rare update here or there. But front loading that position, we need to have somebody who can make sure that we have really detailed ideas on how we're going to accomplish these objectives in our platform. So if anybody wants to do that, let me know. The treasurer, I'm not sure if Jay can still work as the treasurer. It would be great if we had, you know, obviously a woman as the treasurer. So if anybody wants to do that, that's pretty cut and dried. We don't have any federal, we won't have any federal candidate. If we send someone to Congress, we would have federal candidates, which brings us under the umbrella of the FEC. But local candidates that are state of California only, we would only need to work with the FPPC, the Fair Political Practices Commission, and they make everything super accessible. There's training for all this stuff on their website. You can call them up in the mornings, during the week, and they actually answer the phone, and they're really, really helpful on campaign finance stuff. So if anybody can become the treasurer, now is your time to shine. Okay, I'm gonna leave that open then.
No, Johnny's in the chat. So I will say I am completely, this is the space to learn for sure. If you're not comfortable with learning, we have a good group that will back you and that will help you. You can always shoot emails, phone calls. We make group chats and everything. So like I said before, I'm pretty much with you on the just really getting into the politics aspect of life. So if you're interested in something, you know, Courtney is really good with making sure you have the tools to get done what you need done. We don't judge on questions, needing help, not knowing exactly what to do or how to do it or anything like that. They're like completely supportive when it comes to that stuff for sure.
Okay, that's great to hear. Yeah, and if there's training and, you know, support, I'm definitely interested. I only was like, treasurer kind of makes sense because I'm naturally like pretty good with the budget, and I happen to be married to a CPA. So I was like, that might be a good thing to have in the corner. But like hungry to learn and hungry to fit in wherever. And also like if someone's like, oh, you should try this piece instead, I'm definitely open for, you know, input.
Okay, so can I put you down as a treasurer, and then we'll give you the training. Let me put the link to this document. I'm sorry, I don't know what the Zoom thing does, frankly. Let me pull up the chat, but I will put you down. You can put yourself down actually in the document here once you get the link. Everybody got it in the chat just now, and put your name and information in there. And then we can have like a private meeting and sit down and talk about getting you the training and resources that you need. Also, are you currently a registered Democrat?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I can give you the new Democratic Training Commission and the Women's Democratic Caucus training materials. You can sign up as a registered Democrat to use those, even though ultimately you'll be using them to like leave the party. But right now, as a registered Democrat, you can totally fly under the radar and take advantage and steal their stuff. And they're pretty comprehensive to getting trained and stuff. So you should have the link. Just go ahead and sign yourself up in there. Let me put the chat away. Let me figure out how to put the chat away. There. Okay, I'm gonna put the chat away. I don't know if you guys can see the chat when it's up on my computer. Oh, okay. So chairs, this shouldn't be open. This is, Keisha, is it LA or Ellie?
Ellie.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we just need one other, the reason there's two vices and one chair is to break ties. So this is executive level. So the first vice chair's responsibility is going to be working on the machinations of the actual organization, making sure that our vision is getting executed upon, making sure that information is getting passed to the right people, and making sure that people are staying on task and they're getting their stuff done. And if they're not getting their stuff done, trying to find out why and making sure that they have the training they need, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's very internal. The second vice chair is structured to handle external stuff. So like that's going to be more so working on outreach and more so working on overseeing our branding and messaging and making sure that everybody is getting their events taken care of and they're getting their event materials get sent out and they perform the event, and then they compile, the second vice chair will compile the analytics and see how successful that is. And just it's stuff that's external to the organization, the functioning of the organization. So that's kind of what that is. Is there anybody who may be interested in performing that type of function? Okay, I don't see any hands raised. Well, Alex, are you switched? Do you want to switch? You're muted, honey.
I don't know. Should I switch? I'll let you decide. You put me wherever you want. But I would love.
It's up to you.
Outreach things. I think that would be really awesome. But their communications kind of does the same thing. So I really like that aspect of the team too.
So the second vice chair will focus on overseeing like stuff like making sure that we're on track and meeting our signature goal for the month. Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Like everything that's external to the organization and it's not personnel oriented.
So I'll stay as communications director.
Okay.
I don't have enough time to go out there physically all the time and make sure that we're outreaching all the right locations. So yeah, somebody else will do better.
Okay, perfect. No problem there. And then we just have these couple of spots open here for online stuff. So it would be really cool if we had somebody who could take the website over for me. We really desperately need a Twitter guru because Twitter is where politics happens on social media. And I don't really get on the platform very much, nor do I really like Twitter all that much. It's not my favorite. So I need somebody who really genuinely enjoys 140 character limit to take that over. It's not going to be me.
Johnny says she enjoys Twitter, so.
Oh, good. Okay, so just take it. Just get it away from me. I don't like it. So learn the algorithm. Read up on how to be successful on Twitter because there is a methodology to that if you don't know that already. I'm sorry if you do know that already and I just assume that you don't. And find out how to manipulate the algorithm and what you need to do. I know that there's some sort of tagging involved and like these hashtags make no sense to me. I don't even know how a hashtag works, frankly. I don't like it. Do your thing. And when you feel like you're ready to take over the Twitter account, please let me know. And then you'll also work with Alex on that as well. So you two will be part of the same team. Facebook, obviously, Instagram, obviously, we're all sort of like doing that. But if we had one dedicated person, we have the Facebook and the Instagram linked. So it makes it easy if we have a graphic, which most of our stuff does have a graphic. We publish it on Instagram and it just automatically syncs to the Facebook and everything's easy peasy. And the only thing you really have to do is go on the Facebook and rework the tags so that they actually tag people, because on Instagram to Facebook, it just says @ so-and-so. You know what I mean?
So I actually want to do the Instagram and Facebook, and what I want to do out is try to reach out to some young women who are currently college students and see if they would like to become part of the party, and then actually actively post for us as part of like a group setup. So I have some ideas about where we can get connected with some young women. There's a lot of women's groups right now, especially on Facebook, that are all over America. So, you know, they don't really need to be local here in California. Wait, do they have to be local? They probably have to be local, but we can just go ahead and find a group. Like if anybody else wants to participate, where we're really failing right now in our social media is that we're just not involved enough with other accounts. So we need to be able to go on there, you know, say, hey, like, I would really love your post. This is really amazing. And kind of start the conversation so they learn more about us while we're also supporting them. And, you know, there's a lot of great women's groups out there already on Instagram and Facebook that we can try to connect with. And as their members see us, they'll come over to our profile as well. That's it.
Court, you're muted.
Whoops. I'm just going to leave that with you, and you can come up with your own strategy on how you want to get with the Facebook and the Instagram stuff. Okay. I can't get rid of this window now. You guys, I feel sick when it comes to Zoom. Okay. So then that just leaves an email coordinator, and really this is somebody who I want to say email and text campaign. This is somebody who will be in charge of creating and sending out a monthly newsletter to members. Once we get more subscribers, it'll be somebody who is in charge of making sure that if we have a text campaign, that we are executing on that. The need right now is minimal, but if you know somebody who loves to write a newsletter, there you go. That's their thing. That's their little, they can be that cog in the wheel. And then media relations specialist is going to be somebody who drafts up press releases, somebody who manages interfacing with people like Jessica, and has that connection to the media in general. So, all right, I think that's it. I'm going to highlight Facebook and Instagram because I know that you are handling those, Alex. So I'm going to put them in pink. Oh, good. I moved that thing out of my way. I don't know how I did, but I did. Cool. So if you know anybody who is interested in doing any of these things, or you yourself want to do any of these things, please let me know. Thank you, Johnny, for being the only person to sign up today. Thank you. You're awesome. I love you. All right. Going over the strategy. Oh, t-shirt raffle. Okay, I don't even know if we have, do we need to have a raffle? How many people do we have here? We have that don't have t-shirts. Johnny doesn't have a t-shirt.
So I already did it when we first started the meeting, because I looked at the names and I just remembered everyone that ordered. And actually, Tammy won. And I can share that screenshot to you. I don't know how to post it on here because I did it on my computer.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll just move over the screen.
Okay.
Can you see?
Can you see why we need help on social media? Okay, so Tammy won one shirt, but we still had two other shirts.
Okay, let me remove her name then off the raffle.
Okay. So just do that, and then I'll talk about the other stuff. So we're doing this video challenge. Please, 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 please make a video of yourself. It does not have to be long. Send it to the main email and just tell us your name and where you're from, why you're passionate about the Women's Party, and what you want to do to help the Women's Party succeed. small note, include which party you're currently registered with. So just include which party you're currently registered with. And that will really help us because it'll help, like, people love videos, they love being able to see other people talking and sharing their experiences and testimonies, but I'm also going to compile it into a really cool video montage as well, as a marketing tool. So if you haven't subscribed to the mailing list yet, you can do that. The link is right here. If you haven't made a video, please do that. You don't have to be like perfect or camera ready and have a ring light and have it look awesome. Just be yourself. Like and follow all the social media accounts, which are down here, and talk to your friends and family about the party. The best thing we can get is an in-person recommendation from you to somebody else, about why this is necessary and why you want to participate and why you feel like they might want to participate. So yeah. I see Tammy's note that she probably wants to do a newsletter. So I'm going to ping her about this. I'm going to ping Tammy. I'm going to ping you about this at a later time.
Hey, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say specifically to Courtney that I think you launching this is fantastic. I think it's highly ambitious. I think it's bold. I think it's awesome. And I'm glad that we met on the campaign trail. I'm glad that we're friends. I look forward to this journey with you. So thank you. I mean, we should give credit where credit's due. And the fact that you initiated all this is huge and amazing. And I'm greatly appreciative of it. So thank you.
No, you're going to make me cry. Thank you so much. I also am really happy that we met. I can't say enough how high of a regard I hold for you. And it's very appreciated to see credit where credit is due, because as women, we frequently have our ideas and our thoughts stolen and recredited by somebody else. And it will come down to all of us making this happen and working and doing our best to get this going. So ultimately, even though, you know, I may have started it, I really feel like it is a we thing and we are going to be stronger together. I sat and I thought about this for several weeks and I thought, do I want to get myself involved in this? Do I have time to devote to this? And every single time I had thoughts about starting a women's party, I really had no other answer other than this just needs to happen. So that's what my heart told me. And thank you all for just being here, showing up and caring and wanting to make things better for yourselves and for others. So thank you. Okay, I think we were waiting on Alex for the other two drawings.
Yes, so we have, is it Richa? Am I saying that correctly?
Oh, Richa, yeah.
And then the last person is Dana.
Nice. Awesome.
So you guys,
Dana, where you live?
So we have actually 2 grays and 1 yellow, and we'll let Melissa, since she was the first winner, choose her color, and then the 2 other girls get to choose.
Oh, Tammy won.
Yeah, Tammy. Sorry. So we have Tammy. You get first pick.
She's probably gonna type it in the chat because I think she's off video right now. Okay, Tammy wants yellow.
And then we have either a gray with red or a gray with black for Richa.
I feel like Richa would like the red. She had to run to the sports park because she's doing that victory caravan thing right now, but I feel like she would like the red.
Let's put that aside for her then. And then, like, guys, just email me your address, or not email me, actually just send it in the chat right now. And then I'll ship those out to you unless you want to come and pick them up in my store in Old Town.
I think that's how we all feel right now. Incoherent screaming. Okay.
See, that's why we need family
muted yourself,
support
Courtney.
so much. It's so valuable to women, and it's so, you know, difficult to get everything done when we have little ones running around. We get flustered, and you know, we're not at our best. So being able to connect each other that way is really valuable.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Okay, so I have unmuted myself, and unless anybody has any other comments or questions, I'm going to call the end of the meeting at 1:16. I feel like this was extremely substantive, and it was wonderful to see your bright, shining faces today. And I'm very excited for us to get moving forward. And thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody who has stepped up, everybody who's participated, everybody who's donated, everybody who's worked already on behalf of this crazy thing that we just decided to take upon ourselves, because everybody's contributions really will be extremely important moving forward. So thank you again to everybody. I'm gonna leave the meeting, but if anybody wants to stay and chit chat with others, feel free to do so. All right, thank you guys.
Bye, thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Courtney.